Hello. It has been my pleasure to work with the employees of Syncrude for over 3 years. During this time, I have been impressed with the energy and dedication that you bring to your work, and with the pride that you take in being a part of Syncrude. This video is a celebration of that dedication and pride. Copies have been given to all employees in recognition of their contribution toward the successful realization of 10 years of operations and the startup of the Capacity Addition Project. On behalf of the Executive Committee, I would like to thank you for your support and commitment. We hope that you will enjoy watching this video and sharing its message with your families and friends.
For 25 years, Syncrude, its owners, and the federal and provincial governments have worked to develop Alberta's oil sands opportunities. Since plant startup in 1978, there have been 10 years of meeting and overcoming challenges, of developing new technologies, and establishing new production records for the recovery of oil from the sands. In 1987, production reached the highest level ever, while operating costs on a per barrel basis dropped to a new low. This is Syncrude production. 10 years of teamwork, 10 years of triumph.
If you'd been here about 100 million years ago when the McMurray Formation was being deposited, you would have seen a very different geographic setting than what exists now in the Fort McMurray area. We had rivers and streams emptying into an ancient sea, which was moving southeastward. And as those rivers deposited their sediments, layers and layers of sand accumulated. The sand is now our ore body. It contains the oil which we assume or figure moved in from the west. The Athabasca deposit contains approximately 1.3 trillion barrels of oil and occupies a land area of 42,000 square kilometers. Not all that land area, not all that oil is surface mineable using present technology. But the Syncrude leases sit on the surface mineable area and contain in excess of 10 billion barrels.
After 10 years of production, close to 500 million barrels of synthetic crude have been pumped to refineries in Edmonton, and finished products sent to other parts of Canada and the United States. With CAP on stream, it will mean over 140,000 barrels a day.
CAP stands for Capacity Addition Project. It's part of Syncrude's $1.5 billion expansion program. It basically consists of 3 process units, a hydrogen plant, a hydrotreater, and a hydroprocessor. CAP has been a tremendous success for Syncrude. It's running about $80 million under budget and about 3 months ahead of schedule. The main factor for this has been teamwork, the effort that the Syncrude people have put in over the last 4 or 5 years.
CAP's production increase, an additional 20,000 barrels a day, pushes Syncrude's share of meeting Canada's oil requirements to over 10%.
In 1974, with the decision to go ahead with Syncrude, the population of Fort McMurray was 11,000. By 1977, they were starting the mining, and by the time the first oil was moving through the pipelines in 78, the population had doubled. Since that time, a period of 10 years, Fort McMurray's population has now grown to 35,000 with people from all over the world. And ever since then, Fort McMurray has forged ahead and has not looked back ever since.
The Syncrude operation. One word describes it: big. The process begins here in mining, at one of the largest open pit mines in the world. These massive drag lines, there are 4 of them, have become a symbol of Syncrude. Each is the length of a football field, with buckets the size of a 2-car garage. Next, 4 bucket wheel reclaimers load the oil sand on conveyor belts, which carry it to the extraction plant. Extraction is a high-volume process. Oil sand arrives at the rate of 1 ton per second to each of the 4 tumblers in the plant. Steam, hot water, and caustic free the heavy molasses-like bitumen from the sand. The bitumen goes to upgrading, where it is converted into a lighter, less viscous, low-sulfur product called synthetic crude oil, suitable for a conventional oil refinery. The economic impact of Syncrude extends far beyond the plant site. Syncrude has also created jobs for workers in Fort McMurray and surrounding area, Edmonton, Calgary, jobs for people in every region of Canada.
Syncrude has been able to offer to the people of Fort McKay opportunities with respect to trades, working on the OCAR program, and also with some contracts that we have with the Syncrude for the transportation services. We think that the 5-year commitment made by Syncrude, which would generate approximately $8.5 million of revenue to the community, is a good opportunity for us to also get involved in the business aspects of economic employment.
Syncrude employs 4,600 people, and there are also about 16,000 people employed across Canada directly due to Syncrude. Because of the amount of goods and services the company requires, those people are employed in other companies that provide these services to Syncrude.
Syncrude's constantly improving technology has provided Canadians with valuable spin-off dividends. On its own or in partnership with government and private researchers, Syncrude's talented R&D department has adapted processes and products used in many other Canadian industries.
Some of our recent contributions has been improved reliability of the major mining equipment. There's increased recovery, increased energy efficiency in the hot water extraction process. One very recent and pretty exciting one is development and application of expert systems which will monitor and control the extraction process. By the way, that's a joint effort by not only Syncrude, but CanMet and Alberta universities.
Syncrude's $1.5 billion capital investment program, which started in 1983 thanks to an amended royalty agreement with the government of Alberta, is a good example of both off-site job creation and development of new technologies. The Capacity Addition Project, which is part of the program, had its large modules fabricated in Edmonton and moved by road for installation on site. This new 40,000 barrel a day bitumen processing unit will operate independently of the 2 bitumen cokers. It has a higher bitumen conversion rate and, in conjunction with the 2 existing fluid cokers, results in a higher overall yield of synthetic crude oil. A new sulfur recovery unit will increase reliability, and a new environmental unit will treat the tail gas from the 3 sulfur plants and increase overall recovery up to 99%. While production will increase, SO2 emissions will actually decrease.
CAP has affected mining in that we have had to increase our pace of production to a tone of approximately 12% a year, or 10 million tons a year.
Our CAP units have increased our production by about 60,000 barrels of bitumen a day, and the recovery is still up in the 90% range, which is on par with the rest of the plant.
So in total, we should, it's roughly 6.8 million extra barrels a year for us, and it's a little cheaper than coker production because it's, we get a higher yield rate, and with the new technology, it costs a little less to produce it in the new units.
This is the tailings area. This is where the sand comes after they're finished with it in the extraction plant. The water lays in the pond, the bitumen floats on top of it. This year we'll probably skim off in excess of 600,000 barrels of bitumen off the pond. When CAP comes on stream, what difference it'll make to tailings is increased volumes in sand. It really won't change our operation all that much, except that we'll have more sand and bitumen to deal with.
From the beginning, Syncrude has set a commitment to the land. We're taking a lot from it, but we'll also restore it to a productive capability as good as or even better than before Syncrude began mining. Tailing sand, which is oil sand after the oil is removed, has no nutrients, but after capping it with selectively removed topsoil material, the land is once again able to grow grasses, legumes, tree and shrub seedlings.
The Syncrude utilities team provides the site with a variety of energy forms, including steam electricity, compressed air and nitrogen, and process and cooling water.
Utilities produces power and steam to operate the refinery or the plant, and we have an enormous amount of steam and electricity on site. We produce enough electricity to keep a city going up 250,000 plus, and we have an enormous amount of water, besides the water plant, to produce the steam. I think we have one of the largest demineralized water plants in North America, if not the largest.
To maintain and repair the variety of equipment used in the total Syncrude operation, there are many large teams of maintenance specialists. Elaborate computer systems and control centers are in place, as well as a computer-administered warehouse, which keeps track of the hundreds of thousands of parts required each day by such a large-scale and intricate operation as Syncrude.
Everybody has a role to play in loss management. Employees do not want to get injured, and Syncrude as a company does not want people to be injured. The employees have to work safely so that they do not get injured. Employees have good ideas from the workplace on what things are unsafe, and they can respond to those things quicker. So it's in their best interest to prevent injuries to themselves, and at the same time allow the company to take advantage of their job knowledge in preventing losses, losses being injuries, damage, etc.
The Capacity Addition Project is a fitting example of the careful planning and implementation which has characterized Syncrude's approach for 25 years and seen Syncrude meet and exceed challenges set by nature with technology and a supportive team of professionals. 25 years of teamwork and 10 years of production triumph are not enough. Success tomorrow depends on today's careful planning. Syncrude is completing a major engineering study for a $4 billion mega project, which would increase production by an additional 30 million barrels a year. Additional oil sands development would pay dividends to Canada in offsetting imported oil and producing wealth, jobs, technologies, and industries, enriching all Canadians. Whatever the future brings, Syncrude will continue to meet its objectives of safety, reliability of supply, and constantly improving productivity through the combined talent of its most important resource, its employees. 25 years of teamwork, 10 years of record-breaking production. This is Syncrude.